Hello, everyone. I had an idea to do a project, and I thought it would be fun to document the process of this project. I found on the internet, Spitfire Audio they have a sound set of the BBC Orchestra. So if you look at I'll put this in the description, but if you go to spitfireaudio.com/bbcso, you have there are three different versions of this piece of software. What this is, it's the full BBC Orchestra, and they go through and they record each instrument in different dynamics in different mic placements and all sorts of crazy things. So there's three different versions of it. There's the Discover, there's the Core, and then there's the Professional. So you'll see that the professional version is $749. The Core version is $349. These are on sale for I don't know how long. But if you look at the Discover is either $49 or free. So if you want this to try and like play around and see if it's worth actually buying, the Discover is actually a really good starting place. And I'll show you the differences of the three different versions in a second. But if you want this for free, all you do is you click on this link that says or free. It takes you through a survey. You fill out your name and you answer a bunch of questions about BBC Orchestra, about the BBC, about Spitfire Audio and what sort of audio recording you're doing and that sort of thing. It's pretty simple. And then you have the option of waiting 2 weeks or paying $49 and getting it immediately. So if we scroll down the page a little bit, you'll see that there's this chart here. So this is the Discover. This is the one that you can get for free or for $49. This is the $349 version. This is the $749 version. So you'll see that you're limited in instruments. So it's 33 versus 42 versus 56. Number of techniques, which is the different kinds of articulations essentially. So you only have 47 here, but you've got 305 and then 435. So you'll see that the Professional's got a lot more to offer, and it should because it's a lot more money. So you can go through this and look at this, but like just the size alone, for 200 megabytes, which is a tiny sound library for a full orchestra, especially. My pianos that I use for my recording, I think it's like 15 gigabytes of sounds just for three different pianos. So here you're getting a full orchestra. That's flutes, that's clarinets, it's oboes, bassoons, trumpets, French horns, orchestra percussion, all for around 200 megabytes. So you'll see that obviously it goes up as you go along because you have more techniques, you have more round robins, you have more different signals, you have different microphone placements, a whole host of different things. But what I want to see is how versatile the Discover option is and see if I need to move up to Core or Professional. So my idea was I'm going to take a symphony and I'm going to find the full score of the symphony and I'm going to then record it using the Discover all through MIDI and see how it works. So what I did first, I don't think I have the link set anymore, but I'll show you how we can do it. So if you do a Google search for imslp.org, it will take you to the public domain sheet music library. If there is a piece of music and it's covered in a public domain, it will likely be here. So one of the things that I found was I found the full score to Beethoven's Third Symphony. They actually have all 9 symphonies, full score, and all of the parts. So I went through and here is the full score. So here's what you download. So there's full score, and then you can go through, like here's the flute part, the oboe parts. And what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go through and just record each part inside of Logic using the Discover plugin. Before we get there, I need to set up my Logic session, so I thought I'd walk you through the Logic session setup. So here is what I've got so far. I did kind of the bulk of it so far just because It's really kind of easy to get this part done. One of the things that I like to do when I'm working this way is I like to take the different articulations that each instrument has and put them on a separate track. So you'll look at, like I have flute. This is going to be kind of the standard flute sound, and then there's going to be a staccato flute. I don't know what other articulations there are for. There might be a flutter tongue. I don't know if I need that. There might be a trill. I don't know. But for right now, I'm pretty sure that there's a regular flute sound and there's going to be a staccato flute sound. So I did that for the flute. I did it for the oboe, the clarinet, the bassoon, horn, trumpet. Timpani doesn't have much of anything. There might be a roll or something in there that we might need. I'll add that. And I don't have the, I'm still waiting my 2 weeks to get the Spitfire Orchestra. So when I get it, I'll walk you through the installation process, and then I'll show you how I assign each of these instruments to the actual instrument on the right track. I've looked a little bit at the Spitfire Orchestra. I'm pretty sure that there's a sforzando, a pizzicato, and a tremolo. There might be some more articulations for the strings, but I created all of those as well. And it's just simple. All I did was I created the track, I named it, and then when I get it, I'm going to actually point it to the right one. I also like to go through and just put a picture of the instrument that's there, just so it's a little bit easier for me to see. And then you'll see that I just use the auto shrink to make everything fit on the screen. So here's the basic setup as far as the tracks go. There's a few more things that I'm going to need to do. This is kind of a standard setup. So I've actually saved this as a template already, but there's a few other things that I need to do that I should have done before I saved it as a template, but I'm going to show you those things. So one of the things that you can do, I have a keyboard here that has a modulation wheel on it. And one of the things that makes the performance more realistic is if you use that modulation wheel as a expression, a volume expression. Because if you listen to like a flute or any wind instrument or even a string instrument play, you can start playing the instrument and then crescendo and get louder and then get softer all in one note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my modulation wheel so that I can actually start the sound, increase the volume, decrease the volume, all using that wheel. So I'm going to have my left hand, and you'll see as I start recording this, my left hand will be living on that modulation wheel to increase the volume and decrease the volume as I'm playing with my right hand. But we need to set that up in Logic so Logic knows what we're doing. So to do that, we're going to go into the window and open MIDI environment, or you can use Command 0. So this brings up the MIDI environment. We're going to go to up here where it says layer. It defaults to mixer. We're going to go to click and ports. And you come up with this weird looking window here. You'll see that I have two different keyboards plugged in at the moment, so it looks kind of strange the way it's in here, but you can actually ignore that. Yours will probably be different depending on what kind of keyboard you have. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this keyboard here and we're going to put in a different device. So to do that, we need to have a transformer in there. So we're going to New and Transformer. And you'll see it puts this tiny little box here. I like putting it over here, just easier for me to work with it. So what we need to do is we need to take this keyboard output and plug it into the transformer. And this transformer output is going to go to the sequencer input, and then it's going to go to the input, and then that's going to make everything hunky-dory. So next thing we need to do is we need to actually configure the transformer to work properly and map the modulation wheel to expression. So to do that, you double click on transformer, and we're going to go to data byte 1 and go to equals and make this say 1. And down here where this says through, we are going to go to fix and make this 11. And that's it. So what that does is that takes the expression, the modulation wheel, the number 11 here, this channel 11, is the volume expression. And it's that simple. That's all you need to do. So we can close this out. Now I'm ready for my session. Now I could actually start recording all this because it's all MIDI. I'm not going to, because I like to use the sounds that I'm going to be using as final performance to record with. That way I know the expression that I'm going to be using, how much crescendo I'm going to use and decrescendo. I won't know that until I actually have the device. So here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to show you how to save this as a template. I should have done that as a template, and I'll save this as a template with the expression. So just to show you how that works. So now that I've got everything set up, all of my tracks are ready to go. I'll probably end up creating another template once I've mapped everything, so I don't have to go through and map everything every time I want to use this template. But to save it as a template, all you do is go to File, Save as Template, and then that's it. I'm not going to say, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to save it, but I will show you how to call this up again. And what we'll do is once I get the BBC Orchestra, I will modify this template and save it again. That way all of the instruments are mapped properly. But if you want to use this template, let's just close this for now. And we're not going to save this because I'll create the new template later. But to call up that template, all you do is you go File, New from Template, and it brings up your template page. So in this case, it's called Symphony. I hit Choose. There's everything ready to go. Now keep in mind, in this case, I didn't save that expression thing, so I'm going to do that later once I have the Symphony Orchestra sounds ready to go. If you have any questions with this project, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I'm not sure how long this is going to take. I don't know. I've never done this before. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and I thought it'd be fun to document it just to see what you can actually accomplish with the free set of sounds in Logic. Thank you guys for watching. See you soon.